folks who said, they might be a little bit late, or they said they might not be able to make it tonight. And that's okay. We had 12 people qualify for the Better Your Best. And I want to say I'm so proud of how consistent we've been throughout the year. It's been different people, different quarters, but we've kept around 10 to 12 folks on our team have qualified for every single one. And we did all 4 quarters in 2022, and I thought it went really, really well. So I'm going to keep doing it. And each quarter, it'll be something different. And this time I decided to focus on designer series paper. I am using the stamp set Happy Labels because I think it's fun and I love the fonts and I think the sentiments are really, really sweet. You can use whatever font set you want. I will say these fonts, many of them are very long because they're made to go with a special punch. It coordinates with one of the label punches, like little end punches. It's this one, and it has almost like a ticket looking end and like a little ruffle end. And so that makes sense, right? The sentiments can be long because they're meant to stick in, you know, a nice long strip. But I didn't really use that for this. I just made the ones that I wanted to work fit the way I wanted to. So I didn't use the punch. So you just need a sentiment stamp set. You do whatever sentiments work for you. As we go through, I'll show you the dies that I used on the different cards because everybody always wants to know, well, what die is that? What die is that? And I don't always remember. So I pulled them all ahead of time so that I don't have to remember. And they're all just sitting right next to me. So yay for that. If you saw the Facebook live last night, I kind of previewed a few of those cards because I had some folks who earned all the celebration papers because they did the paper share. And so they wanted to see a few of these. So I'm going to show you the cards and then we're going to make them and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and things that I wanted to do. The first one is the farm card. So you have, with this one, I actually took the paper, scored it, and put it into the envelope for you. For some of the other ones, you'll refer to your little pouch. You got like a pouch of paper and you'll be able to go through and kind of pick out the pieces you want. But this one, I needed a special cut and I had to go through a few farm packs to make this happen because what I wanted to be able to showcase a 12-inch span of this paper. So I did a 4-inch by 12-inch. So the other pieces I gave you were 4 by 6, and it was just easy to divvy up all the celebration paper. But with this one, I knew I wanted a card where we could see the whole piece, and I thought that would be really fun. So what I started with was, okay, I know that the front of the card is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I scored it 5 1/4. And then what I actually did is I basically took the paper, and I've got one that's not made here. I took the paper and I basically matched the bottom edge to the bottom edge of this and said, okay, well then I know that this is where this is going to score here, right? And then the only piece we glue down is just this little back flap. So this is the flap we're going to glue down. I just threw some more paper on the floor behind me, but no big deal. So this is the piece we're going to glue down, just this partial flap, right? So, but we're going to put some glue there. We're going to try to center it and make it work. All right. And then I went ahead and I did the die cut for the howdy. I will tell you, I will tell customers too, these little skinny letter dies are boogers. I tried to use the adhesive sheets on them and I ended up ripping a bunch of letters and I just got really irritated. So what I decided to do in the end was just use the negative from the howdy. It was much more solid and it actually looks really cute, I think. And then the other little piece I did, we have that little tiny die that goes the alphabet. And I just cut, I wanted people to know that they're supposed to like pull this and it goes up, right? And so I just used a stapler and I just stapled it on. Now, we did have a Stampin' Up stapler back in the day. Uh, and there is a really funny story about this stapler. We don't have it anymore, but I have it because, I like it and I think it's cute. So we made fun of Candy because basically, if Stampin' Up made it, she had to have it. She's very loyal to Stampin' Up and the brand, and so we laughed that if Stampin' Up made anything, right, she would buy it. And that year at convention, when Stampin' Up came out with a stapler, we were like, okay, that's the glee on Candy's face. We have a picture of her holding the Stampin' Up stapler was immense and hilarious. And it was so funny. And we just were like, great, Stampin' Up now makes a stapler. And of course, Candy has to have the stapler. So and that was many, many, many years ago. But okay, so we're going to glue our howdy down. And I've got my howdy over here. And I think I included, but it's been a rough week. I think I included the letters for you. Like I just basically cut the whole thing out and put the whole thing in your envelope. One of the reasons I did that is because you need the negative from the O from the howdy and the D from the howdy. So I'm not going to use the letters. I could. I mean, it would look okay. And this one, I actually intentionally did a little wacky, and I'll show you what I mean. And so here, see how I made it kind of fun, like I did, like all the letters are sideways. Yours, I didn't do that way, so don't worry. But this one, I decided to have a little bit of fun. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back of the howdy, the negative space, right? And I would definitely recommend gluing down all the little branches and little pieces as well, so that everything kind of stays put and stays, where you want it. So I'm putting glue on all of that, and then we're gonna put that on here. And I'm just gonna kind of press the whole thing and hope we did a good job with the glue. And then I've got the middle of my O. So I'm going to put that down. And the middle of the D. All right. So what's cool with the negative is that you can still see the clouds behind it. You can still see, whatever is behind the space. So I think that it is even cuter than having the actual full letters. And then on the inside, I cut this piece. This is actually from an old die set that we still have. It's still current. It's the painted labels. And for those of you who have the painted labels dies somewhere, this went with the poppies. That's still current. But I've always loved these shapes that were in here. This looks like a little bird's nest. And then I think these two are really nice. This piece that you got in here is from the painted labels. So just FYI, if you're wondering where that fun shape came from. And in this one, I did it up and down because I wanted to see the chicken. And I'll probably do the same thing here. Like I want the little piggies to be seen. So I'm gonna glue mine down so the piggies can be seen. And then I stamped yay on the inside of this one. Howdy, yay. You could do howdy, hello. You could stamp whatever other sentiment you have. And I stamped it in Old Olive. I'm 90% sure. Either Old Olive or Paper Size, one or the other. Oops.
Melissa, this is Glenda. I didn't catch how you stapled that and what you stapled it to.
I stapled it to just the top right-hand corner.
Yeah.
So I just took that little piece and folded it in half and stapled it.
Okay.
And I just did it because I want them to know it's like a tab that they can like pull the card up. Like this is kind of a weird card to get in the mail. It's not your traditional card. So I want them to know that I intentionally designed it for them to be able to open it this way.
Okay.
It was my homage to pull here, you know. So but you can, yeah, you can stamp whatever you want on here. Any other questions about the build of the card?
I guess it's okay if we put it across the bottom the other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, however you want to do it. I think you know, mine had a little pig and a chicken. I think there's another one that maybe doesn't have something here that it's easier to orient it. Because I think these two pieces go like this. So this is like the, you know, one
Yeah.
panel, the next panel, and then there's a third panel. So but yeah, you know, sometimes you want to show off the whole range of paper. And I thought this was a fun way to show, you know, a full scene. We have a couple of other papers like this, the Happy Forest Friends or whatever, the one with the cute little bear and stuff. You could do this with that paper as well. So we usually have a couple of papers that have a full, you know, full scene. They're made for scrapbooking, but you can definitely make adorable cards with them too. So, and you could cut them up too, but
Yeah.
I thought this was more fun. So.
Okay, dokie.
All right, cool. All right, so card number 1 done. Yay. And these aren't meant to be hard. I mean, these are meant to be fun, and hopefully, you know, you learn something, you think about something, you go, oh, that's how I could use that paper. Oh, that's how I could do that. So this card is really easy, and it features the paper for whom I cannot remember the name. Wildflowers. It's not wildflowers, but you know what I mean. Dainty flowers. I will get it right eventually, someday. And I dropped my piece on the floor. So Dainty Flowers has 12. It has 12 of these ovals in the paper pack. And so if you are teaching a class and you want to do this, this is a really fun, easy way to use this paper just by stamping a sentiment and popping up the little oval. So you can decide, you know, what sentiment you want and what kind of fits based on your stamp set. I really wanted this other one to fit. You are my happy place. And I think it will. It's just going to be really tight, but we're going to make it work because I really like this sentiment and I haven't gotten a chance to use it. And then I think for this one, I stamped it in Rich Razzleberry, maybe Blackberry Bliss, something along those lines.
I didn't hear what.
Rich Razzleberry, Blackberry Bliss, some kind of dark purple. Yeah.
Gorgeous grape.
Gorgeous grape would look good. Starry sky, orchid oasis. Any kind of purple would look nice, I think. Oh, you are my happy place. I like that one. Yeah, that'll be fine. I'll make that work. And then I used mini dimensionals on the back of this. And this frame is from the Fabulous Frames dies. So there's a big frame, which is really nice. There's this smaller one, which has like some embossing filigree work. There's the oval. There's also a small little label one that's really cute that I don't think I've used because it's really tiny, but it would go with some of these sentiments. And then it has the 4 corners that you can do, and you could make something look like an old photograph by having the corner pieces. So that's a really cute, it's a fun die set. And a few of the dies, you know, I'm showing you tonight are maybe ones that you don't know of or ones that you haven't used before. That's always fun. So
Great. Drop that one on the floor.
yeah, I also dropped a few things on the floor. No big deal. paper flies. All right. And then we had a couple people on our team qualify. So they sold their first 900 and they got their Stampin' Up bone folder, which is exciting. I think I was going to actually open it up because there's 4 people who met that, which was really, that was exciting. So let me see. I'll pull it up.
Lisa Hagen was one.
She was, and Glenda was one. And who else was one? Let's see. Oh, and Lynn Sampsell. And I think Nancy too. Yeah, Glenda, Lynn, Lisa, and Nancy. So congrats to all of you guys for getting your C2C bone folder. And then I put the little, so I just glued this flat on the card. I will tell you that it is trimmed in because when you trim these, they're uneven top and bottom, and my OCD could not handle it. It was like they were left justified or something. So I just trimmed them down so that they were evenly spaced because I just couldn't take it. And then I just glued that cute little dragonfly down there because I think he's really, really cute. If you don't have those dragonfly embellishments, I put one in everybody's packet. But if you haven't gotten a set, I thought that it would be fun for everybody to see those. So.
And did you just glue it, did you say?
I did. Yeah, I just glued it with a little bit of Tombow. So, but with a multi-glue. He glued pretty good, so I didn't make too big of a mess.
Cute.
Yeah. This is definitely one I'm going to be doing with the seniors at the senior center. Like, they're going to love this. They're going to think this is so pretty and so easy. And I've got them die cutting now, so they now know how to die cut. So I'm going to make them run their own ovals because they know how to do it. And then they love the embellishments. Like, nobody appreciates a good embellishment like the seniors. They really do. So they're going to think these dragonflies are amazing. And we got them, they're all going to get like a quarter pack of this dainty flower paper. And then I gave them a challenge the last time, and I'll give it to them again, that they have to go home and make some cards and bring them back. And then if they do, then I'm going to give them a prize.
Woo-hoo!
They like prizes. Who doesn't like prizes, right?
Everybody likes prizes.
Everybody likes prizes. So
In your senior center, excuse me, did you start out just, I know, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, did you ask them to buy the stamp set in the beginning, or did you gradually worked into it?
Yeah, in the beginning, all we did was paper pumpkins. And they, for the first couple of months, like I just brought supplies, and then I think they finally were like, hey, you're buying stuff. Like, what are you buying? What are you, And I was like, well, yeah, I'm bringing my paper pumpkins. They're like, well, we should reimburse you for those. So then for a while, they kind of reimbursed me out of like petty cash, because they didn't have to do, like, I didn't have to become a vendor with the city and like all this crazy stuff. And then eventually, actually, when we went to COVID and we started doing classes at home, that's when they started buying stuff. And now, now they, I would say they place orders about 3 times a year. And you know, we've got upwards of like 24 people that come in and out on rotation. We have about 12 people that come, you know, we have about 12 consistently, but they all kind of rotate and, you know, doctor's appointments and stuff. But yeah, so it's been pretty, you know, pretty consistent. But it's taken a while, you know, to get there. I mean, I've been doing that class for 5 years is what we figured out the other day. 5 years. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, that took us a while to get there. So, okay. So the next card is a scrappy technique. So Bruno Bertucci from Australia came up with this. I like to use a silicone mat when I'm going to do this. You can see the glue from last time. If you're not going to use wet glue, then it's totally okay. But if you're going to use wet glue, I would recommend putting something underneath your work surface because it does get a little messy. So what you're going to do is I use the Dandy Design paper. And I decided I have this You're Going to Be Amazing Parents card because I thought that sentiment was really sweet. And so you're going to pick the colors that speak to you. I decided to do a girl card, but I'm going to do a boy card this time. So I'm going to show you that. And I have a set of the colors that I've kind of picked out for a boy card. So I think that these would be super cute papers for a boy card. So what I'm going to do is this is a 4-inch wide strip. So I'm going to get my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut some pieces at angles. And you can use your trimmer. I have the little tiny cutter from like years ago that doesn't exist anymore. You do whatever you've got. But all you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to cut your paper and just cut a couple strips of each at a couple of random angles. So some might be a little bigger than others. And what's
color paper?
Huh?
Of different color paper.
Yeah. So we've got in your packet, you have all the Dandy Designs paper. And the Dandy Designs is that crazy big pack that has like 48 sheets of paper or something. It's ridiculous. And so you're just going to cut some fun scraps from that. And you could do the girly one, or you could do a boy card, or you could do whatever you want because it's your card. I'm just going to show you the technique and then you can decide how you want to do it.
How many pieces of paper?
I cut
how many patterns?
So I did 5, which might be excessive. I think this one, I only did, let me see. I think I only did 4 for this one. I did 1, 2, 3, 4. I did 4 for the girl and I'm doing 5 for the boy. Cause you know, why not? I don't know.
If we want to.
Say what?
We could do a solid piece if we want to.
Yeah, for sure. You can do whatever you want.
I think if I were at a real table setting up really well, I would do that, but
yeah.
I think just not.
Yeah. That's understandable. So I'm just pulling these pieces out and looking to see what are the patterns and kind of like, you know, which ones do I like? And then what I'm going to do, I have my piece of white here and I'm going to say, okay, I like this one a lot. So I'm going to start with this one and I'm going to put some glue on it. And the first one I'm going to kind of lay here on the side. I'm going to make sure it lines up nice and tight with the side and then just make sure it overhangs the top and the bottom. When we're done, we'll pick it all up and we'll trim off the excess. So you're just going to kind of take these and you're going to angle them and have some fun with them, hopefully. And I like to kind of alternate the thick and the thin sides. You could do bigger strips, you could do smaller strips, you could do solids. it's your card. You can do what you want, but this reminds me of like quilting or something, like piecing little pieces together. All right, so this is a pretty vibrant green, but I'm going to use it because it's fun. And a lot of the spring cards that you've seen, the Easter, there's a lot of like St. Patrick's Day cards, the lemons, they've all featured the green from this pack. And so the Easter cards are really, this pack of paper is really fun for Easter.
Can I show
you're
you what
just-
I did with that pack of paper?
Maybe, yeah.
I made grass. So,
Oh.
you know, I've been around long enough to have those scissors that cut like
Yes.
grass.
Yes.
So I made this for a swap. I don't have the sentiment on yet, but this is it. So I took the striped paper and I cut down it and made grass.
So cute. So
Turned
cute.
out, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's adorable.
I think it's only the second time I've used those scissors.
I
Shame
know.
on
I was
me.
like, I have those scissors. I do. So if you see that your whole design's kind of leaning, like see how everything on my sheet's kind of leaning, I'm going to kind of double up and try to straighten myself out. And then I just leave a little gap between the sheets. And then that kind of helps to, you know, straighten it out. And I'm going to use this bigger kind of square piece on the end.
And then we put white cardstock inside, right?
You can, yeah. I mean, when a card base is light, I sometimes don't do that. Sometimes I just, you know, write on the inside and leave it like that. You know, some people are really picky about that and they do that every single time. Other people don't care, you know. I don't think I put any insides in y'all's because, oh yeah, because I ran out of Whisper White. Even I am human. I literally have I have scraps right now. Susan Rutherford ran out as well. So, sure. All right, so that's a fun, sticky, gluey mess. When you trim this, use scissors you don't care about. Don't use your good ones. Because yeah, it'll be gluey. And I generally don't wait until it dries because I have zero patience. So, but if you're more patient than me, that's great. So. All right, and then what I did for the sentiment, so I gave you guys a nice piece of ribbon that you can wrap around, and you can actually wrap through the sentiment. And so the sentiment, I actually punched the holes. I had a lot of scrap white, as I mentioned. And I just punched it with that trio punch that we have. So I thought that was a fun look and easy way to add a little bit of something to the card without, you know, it didn't need a lot more. I mean, there's already a lot going on with this card if you use all the paper. So, but yeah, this would make a super cute Easter card, baby card. You know, I mean, these are some fun colors. So I heard that the Lucky Clover has sold out. Oh,
Any time getting more in?
it does not look good, is what someone said. I hadn't looked at ISR today. It was in my basket. It's been years since we had a St. Patrick's Day stamp set, and clearly we needed it. It's TBD. No, so yeah.
Do you think they'll carry it over into the annual?
I don't know. I mean, the fact that it's TBD usually means it's either they really don't know when it's coming back or it's coming back past when this catalog is ending, right? So like it's not going to come back until May, right? So then in that case, then they have carried it over. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do on this one. And we haven't heard anything. We might know Monday. We have our leader meeting, and so we might get an answer back on Monday. But man, there was some angry folks. I'm like, well, you know, it is what it is, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're, you know, when you know, they survey, right? And they try to figure out what, you know, they try to be soothsayers, right? And they try to see into the future and see, you know, what's going to be popular. And sometimes they're good at it and sometimes they're not. So, all right. I want the amazing parent one because I really do think this is a cute sentiment. So I used Highland Heather. 90% sure Highland Heather for that. I think Fresh Freesia is the actual color in the pack, but I was low on that as well. I did a big cardstock order and just got a bunch of cardstock in. So, and then this one is Coastal Cabana, which is a fun bright color, and so I think that this one will be good too.
What
And
do you
then
store cardstock in?
what do I store my cardstock in?
Yeah.
So I have a system. It is down here, and I can show you in a minute, or I'll bring one up. Let's see. So I have these paper, they're magazine racks. And then inside the magazine racks, I have each of my colors is in a plastic, they call them job tickets. It's weird, they're on Amazon. But basically it holds all my scraps together with the packs.
Yeah.
And then everything's organized. I have them by color family. So I have all the subtles, the regals. So I have one magazine holder for each color family. And that seems to keep me relatively organized. Although I just lost a punch on my desk. So, you know, organized is in the eye of the beholder, right? Ah, here we go. All right. And I just eyeballed the middle of this. I realize it might be a little off on one side or the other, but I figured it's good enough for, you know, for this card. And then the ribbon we used, it's actually really nice ribbon. It's the silver metallic edged cotton ribbon. And it just ties really nice like bows and it lays really nice. And it's a good ribbon. So with this one, I'm going to run the ribbon through. I'm going to run behind our tag. And that back behind there, and then that's going to go there. That's super cute. All right. And then I'm going to get not wet glue for this. All right. I'm going to use some seal.
Wrong side on that.
All right. Mhm. Yep. Last night I had someone from Australia on my live. That was wild. I was like, I don't even know what day it is in Australia. Like, what are you doing watching me? All right, which way do I like this? Maybe like this way. So on the first card I didn't put any adhesive behind this tag and it moves a little bit and it's kind of driving me crazy. So on this one, I put a little bit of adhesive behind the tag itself as well, because that was just driving me bonkers. So I'll have to stick some glue underneath that guy.
Did you mean for it to open like this? Just making, or does yours open on the top?
This one opens, yes, like this on the side, like
okay.
this. Yep, I did do it that way. I know, I do wild and crazy things sometimes. And then you can decide if you want to center it or if you want to put it down low. On this one, you can see I kind of like shifted it down a little bit because I thought that looked cool. With this one, I'm actually just going to go straight in the center. So you could pop it out dimensionals. You could do whatever you want. It's your card. But
This is
it's
really
fun.
pretty. This
Yeah,
is really
nice.
pretty.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
fun.
that.
I do too. I think it's a nice way. Sometimes when there's a lot of little busy patterns, I get a little like overwhelmed and I'm like, oh God, how shall I use this? But when you put them all together, I mean, they're made to be used together, right? They're designed to go together. Then I think they look really nice. So yay.
Yay.
Haha. All right. So we have already made 3 cards. We are doing so great.
This is
Go team. Go team, go.
Mhm.
Okay, we have 2 cards left. Easy peasy. Okay, so this card is fun. It's cute. I love it. It's just not it's not what I intended, but that's okay. I was trying to remember the stack, cut, and shuffle. And so I stacked and I cut and I shuffled. And then I realized that I hadn't cut right. And then I was like, okay, but I still like it. So I'm going with it. So our old stack, cut, and shuffle that we used to do had 4 pieces of paper and it had 4 cuts. It had like 4 quadrants basically. But for this one, I did 3 pieces of paper and 3 quadrants. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So we're using the paper, again, whose name I do not know. I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to remember any of the names of any of these papers ever. Like, I've just kind of relinquished that. Favored flowers. See, I don't remember it. So I picked 3 sheets out of favored flowers. So you can pick whatever 3 sheets make you happy. And then I cut it down to 5 1/4. And then once I had done that, then I'm going to try to piece my sheets back together so that you can see where I was, which I think was not this one. This one? Yes. I took each sheet, God bless, and
I'm not muted.
I cut it into 3 pieces. So this piece, so I cut the left-hand side off first and I cut at 1 1/2. So I cut a 1 1/2 inch panel. And then on the rest of it, I just went down and I cut at 3. So this panel is 1 1/2 by 5 by 5. And this panel is 2 1/4 by 3, and then 2 1/4 by 2. So I wanted to show you that then once you've done that to 3 different sheets, right? So I have this green sheet that I cut, right, which would have gone here-ish or so, right? And then I had a pink sheet that I did as well, right? Like so. Yes, like so. Then you can mix and match them and you can decide what you like. So you actually could get 3 card fronts out of this. So basically, you know, I went through and said, okay, you know, what patterns do I like the best? And kind of how do I want to arrange them, right? And I decided that maybe these are my 3, right? You can do this however you want. I think I like keeping the smaller quadrant up top because when you add the heart and like the thank you, then it's kind of a little bit higher. And I did kind of center that heart right there on the line. So
you did 1.5 by 5. And
yeah,
what were the others? What was this? That
2 1/4 by 2 1/4 by 3 and by 2.
okay, 2 1/4 by 3. Got it.
Because then this should add up to 4. It's actually a little bit less. Actually adds up to 3 3/4. I must have trimmed this paper down. I think because I created this dark mossy meadow mat to go around it. So I think I originally trimmed the bigger sheets down to 3 3/4 by 5. That's what I did. I think this was the first one I made. So this one. And you could use whichever pieces you like. You know, I think these flowers are easy to cut out. So I'm going to use these probably on another project, which is why I used more of the tightly clustered roses for this one, because I think they look nice, kind of whole, you know.
Where did I put my paper?
So I've got a piece and I just need, I don't have any of the other pieces. I didn't make myself a packet for this one for some bizarre reason, but I have a card base. So, so you're just going to glue your pieces, glue this down, and then you can stamp. I popped this up with dimensionals. Oh, and then I was going to show you how good those went with this. Let me see. There's a set of gems in the annual catalog that I thought went really well with a lot of these projects. And I was kind of like, oh, that's fun. I didn't figure it out till later. It's the solid faceted gems. If you don't have these, they're really, really pretty. There's like a dark green, there's a balmy blue, maybe a mint macaron, I'm not sure, a petal pink for sure, polished pink. And then one of the blues, I can't tell if it's Pacific Point or not, but it's a really bright blue. It's really pretty. So these are really fun, the solid faceted gems. And I thought they went really well, actually, with a lot of the projects we're making tonight. But you could, you know, zhuzh up whatever you want with whatever you have. And then all we have left is one more card. So we're doing good. Yes, my wacky measurements. I'll probably, when I post this one, I'm going to post pictures of each of them on our page, and I'll post the measurements for the DSP on this one, because this is the only one that like is weird and hard, I think, quote unquote. This is the only one where you have to do math. Math, paper math, right? So these roses, though, like I thought this paper was really dark at first, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I like it. Elena has done a lot of samples with it and has converted me. And so I'm now like, oh, I like it. And I really do like the B side. Like I love these patterns, and I think they're really pretty. And so the B side is actually has sold me as well. But I like the roses. The dahlias are okay, but the roses, they're pretty.
Put that together.
Okay, the last one's probably the easiest, honestly. So the last one is the Flowers and More. So I gave you all a sample of the Flowers and More. This is actually the Hostess pack paper. which you might not have gotten or noticed. But I've been playing with it a lot. It is $18 for 48 sheets of paper, which is a lot. And you can only get it with hostess benefits. So your order has to be at least $150 in order to get this pack. If your order is $150, then you get $15 in hostess benefits. Yes, this pack is $18. They will let you go over your hostess benefits. And I don't know if people know that, but you can go over a little bit, but you can't go over like a whole item's worth, but you can go over by a couple of dollars. So if your order is $150, then you could spend those $15 of host rewards, plus $3 of your own dollars, to get 48 sheets of really, really, really pretty paper. And the florals are a lot. The front is a lot. I know that. The back side is really pretty though too. And I love the B side of this. It's very bright and cheerful. These make great birthday cards. The taco set is terrific for this paper pack. There's a lot of like fiesta looking sheets in here. The llama, I mean, like, oh my gosh, so fun. It's a very fun paper pack. If you don't like brights, this is not the color pack for you. That's okay. But if you like bright colors, this is definitely fun. But I wanted to show you a way to tamp it down a little because it is a lot. So you guys have, I went and I cut these, and as much as I love these, they are a little painful, but I'm going to show you a couple tips. So this is the split card texture dies. There's 2 of them in the pack. There is one that is a floral kind of look. It has like almost like a floral motif. And then the other one is this one, which is, and I brought my die set up in here so you could see it. So this is the one that has the the kind of cross hatch pattern. I'm using my die brush, and while the die is still on here, I'm die brushing this, and I'm pretty aggressive because the die is protecting my paper. So while the die is still on the paper, I can be pretty aggressive and I can get most of this popped out. So then I can pull the die up, and then maybe I have 1 or 2 little pieces to pop out at that point. Now, our new Big Boss cutting machine cuts really, really well, but with these dies, I do run them twice. And I'm not running many dies twice nowadays, but these I am running twice, because there's just no way to pick this stuff out. It's really got to be nice and clean and crisp. And so, so with this one, basically it gives you the opportunity to, hide a little bit of the pattern. And so you can kind of decide which paper you want to use. I thought the white flowers in here, would look nice with the white on the front. I think you could do the pink would look really fun. I think it needs to be a more solid one. Like, I don't think you would want to use it on the white. I think this one would be really cute as well, that has like the purples and stuff in it. But I think this time I'm going to do the red one because this one's been calling my name for quite some time. So this panel that's cut, we just need to trim a little bit of the DSP off the end. So I think that this panel is a 5-inch panel, if I'm not mistaken. It's 5 1/4. Okay, so we need to get this down to 5 1/4.
It's 6.
It's 6, yeah. I cut them all to 4 by 6 because that's the easiest way to divvy all that 12 by 12 paper.
5 1/4.
Yeah, so 5 1/4.
3/4.
No, 5 1/4.
Okay. But if
Yeah.
I've got a piece of paper, I only take 3/4 off, right?
Correct. That is correct. And then make sure if you're going to stamp a sentiment on it, like I did, stamp it before you mount it. So, you know, look and see if you've got, you know, a sentiment that you like that you could kind of nestle in here. I liked the I just want to hug you. I also like the you've got the biggest heart. So I'm going to stamp that one on here. And I did this in Poppy Parade. Pretty sure. Sweet Sorbet. Maybe I did Sweet Sorbet. So sometimes it's hard to tell what color I'm doing anything in. But I think this one has Sweet Sorbet in it. You've got the biggest heart. So I just kind of went, you know, kind of down the sheet until I felt like it fit, you know, just right, left and right. And then I used the strips, which we still have them. I don't know if you guys are using them much, but we have these foam adhesive strips, and they're used mainly for shaker cards, which this could make a really fun shaker card if you wanted to. But I used the foam strips for these. I just couldn't figure out another way to get the sides well supported. And so I used the foam adhesive strip on this, on the long skinny side. And then I used it a little bit on the top skinny and the bottom skinny. And then I used regular dimensionals on the rest of the card. And I put, you know, I tried to support, you don't want the whole middle piece to like collapse inward. So, you know, I tried to support it as best I could. I might have over supported, and that's okay. I'm an over dimensionaler. I like dimensions, they're fun. So does a dog. All right. So there we go. So I'm just going to add that on top. And then hopefully you've got it right on the edge. And so you can't see the foam on this one. Unfortunately, I didn't do a very good job. I'm a little too close, but that's okay. It's okay. People can see my secrets. See what's supporting the card. You could choose not to pop it up on foam. You could just flat glue it down. But I think it loses a little bit of its, you know, it loses a little bit of the cool effect when you do that. And then you could add some rhinestones, or you could add, you know, the little butterflies, or whatever you've got in your arsenal of fun jewels. I know I've got some from the annual catalog that I'm trying to use up, and, you know, I have a few butterflies left. I'm down to like 4 butterflies or something. But so any other questions about our fun cards that we did? I tried to show you guys some easy stuff that you could replicate. I know a lot of you are starting to do some classes, and I think that's awesome. I just want to make sure that they're, you know, replicatable cards, right? They're not hard for you to prep, and they're not hard for people to make. We want people to feel successful. That's what they want to feel. They don't want to feel like an art class dropout, right? They want to feel successful. They want to feel like they're an artist, even, you know, if they're just stamping, gluing really pretty paper, right? Like the paper does all the hard work for you on it. So any comments, questions, concerns, I'll probably stop the recording. So let me stop that. So everybody watching it